Greets peeps, this is Tony, the hero of France, the heart of France, here to talk about trade nodes some more. Let's have a quick look through here. God, it's awful. Genuinely, you don't need to. In fact, it's probably an entire video too late, but I'd say, hey, skip the trade videos. You don't need them. Set your merchants to go collect trade somewhere and get your money through other means. But this is a good. I mean, there's lots of people that will enjoy the trade functions in this game, and hey, fair enough. That's cool. I can dig it. I just don't understand it well enough because it's all incremental and mathsy to enjoy it as much as I should. That's not to say that other people won't, so let's keep going through this. We'll try and explain it a little bit further. If you're not too into the trade side of things, which I'm certainly not, I can dig it. Skip this video, we'll continue on with what will be the next one. We'll look at missions and no, we won't. We'll look at diplomacy, because I've been ignoring it for 4 months now, and that 5 months now, and that is not good. So, in the meantime, for those of us still around who want to try and understand trade, we can have a look at the trade efficiency. Increases the amount of money we get from trade. Trade range is increased from different technologies. Trade steering is bumped by naval tradition, which is something we'll come to a little bit later on. Global trade power is affected by our prestige, which is terrible at the moment. That may have had an impact on our trade, come to think of it, when we dropped our prestige down. That's okay, we'll have a look at that later. Mercantilism is another place that you can spend your diplomacy trade points. When you increase your mercantilism, it increases your embargo efficiency, and your embargoes will come to later. But it also increases our provincial trade power. Provincial trade power being the trade power in our provinces. Let's have a look here. Trade power. So our mercantilism of 20% increases the amount of trade that we have in each of our provinces. Is that even one of mine? No, it's not one of mine. That's one of mine. So being coastal and having mercantilism gives us a bonus to our 100% trade power. It's reduced by our autonomy, but I think we were getting more money from our tax than we would through this filter of income anyway. Let's have a look. Nope. Trade income. Oh, it doesn't break it down by what do you call it? This might? Yes, okay. So, when we had a look at Picardy, we saw that we had total trade power of 4.5. Oh, it doesn't break it down by province, only by nation. Okay, so the combined, our only provinces in that trade node are these three, so they combine to 1% of the trade power in that trade node, which makes sense given that we've only got one of them coastal. The coastal provinces have that bonus that we saw before, coastal bonus of 25%. So all of these guys and all of those guys and those guys are stealing our sweet trade power. Not surprising that we've got only 1% if we've only got one coastal and two inland. If we have a look at there, we've also got autonomy modifiers, reducing that because all of our states, all of our provinces are controlled by estates. And hence our low trade income and our low trade power in each of the nodes. We can look at global trade power, mercantilism. Yes, so mercantilism, bumping that up increases our embargo efficiency, which we'll come to later. It also increases our provincial trade modifier by double. Whatever your mercantilism is, it doubles for your provincial trade power modifier. But it also has negative effects in the long term, in that colonies will not like your mercantilism. They will. No, that's not affected. They will be more likely to rebel when you have high mercantilism. So there's pros and cons for mercantilism. Usually it's a good thing to push up. I push it up a lot because I don't do much colonizing. But if you're a country like Portugal, who is only ever going to have a tiny power base, a tiny population and home base, they will see trouble if their mercantilism gets too high. Tricky to explain at the moment, but it will make more sense later if I go colonization. I think I'll have to try and explain things. Privateer efficiency, we don't do any privateering, so that's not a problem. The inland bonus, so if we have so inland trading is between like the Rhineland trade node and us. We get a bonus to those, and they increase. Yeah, there's different policies and ideas that will control how much your inland trading is worth to you. For most of Europe, it's a fairly small thing, but for some nations in Africa, in North Africa in particular, I think they get good inland trade bonuses, and so your trade, where you put your merchants and where you put your end trade node, your home trade node, main trade node, will depend. Can be altered by that. Goods produced modifiers, we don't have any of those. Those are picked up by ideas and by your nation bonuses. And you can promote, I mentioned that before, you can promote mercantilism by spending 100 Diplo, which we do not intend to do. Our embargoes on others, we don't have any. No embargoes on us. No one's transferring trade power to us. That's another thing that you can request when you have a war. You can also request it diplomatically, actually, but usually I get them through war, just saying, hey buddy, give me some money, and they don't, rather than giving you money directly, they'll transfer power to you. There's no one in our trade node who we could bully into that, so it's not worth it. Everyone in that trade node would ignore us. Later on in the game, we'll see if we can do that, and we'll have a little investigation of this area. Down here, you can use this to control where you send your merchants. We can already see what we're doing here. We've got one there, one there. We could send a merchant to our home node, but it would earn us less money than it would elsewhere, so it's not worth doing. Trade power. So we have some trade power in the Rhineland, but not near enough. And yeah, I think we're doing it right at the moment. Genoa, that would be nice, but we have 0 trade power there. But that's the richest trade node in the world at the moment, I would suggest. Oh, Constantinople? No. Yeah, Venice and Genoa, both very well off. So this will, I think that explains most of what's going on here. It's even to me, and I've played a lot of this game, it's a bit airy-fairy, but I think those general principles that I mentioned in the last video that was really long, amounted to put your merchants in a place in an end node if you can. If you can't, if you've got no trade power there, then hey, divert trade to your main node. And if you don't have enough trade power in any one node, collecting can make more money, is what we've ended up doing in both of these. Nice. This is a nice short one. Next time we'll get onto the game proper. It's, well, the interesting parts of the game. Trade, definitely not my forte, and definitely not my favourite part of the game, but it's useful to know about. Thanks for watching. Back soon.